This is another product by Alaskan Tactical. This is the billet aluminum wall mount for the Glock pattern. So this comes in two sizes. We've got the short and the tall, and it just depends on what layout of firearm you have, whether you're using a full length of the magazine or you only use partial length. And to determine which one you need, first start out with your firearm, and you'll notice that a lot of the magazine, this is a standard Glock magazine, a lot of this magazine is just sticking out and is not being used. Because of that, if we use the short mount, put that in there and it will fit just fine. And this will allow for like the best visual appearance, the most compact space-saving use when you are mounting your firearm. Put the Glock magazine inside and get yourself some tape. And you're just gonna rip off some tape, and right where it's flush, you know, depending on what your firearm lower receiver looks like, it may be more squared, it may be tapered just like this one is. And so put your tape right along the shape of the underside of your receiver. So in this case it's tapered. And then we're gonna take it out, and then we're gonna find our magazine catch right here, and we're gonna do the same thing, except for we're gonna put a piece of tape on the bottom of the catch on the top side and just straight across, not trying to keep that taper. All right. And so now we've effectively created a pattern for the distance of the front and the back of your magazine. So what we're going to do now is take a pair of calipers or a tape measure, and we're going to measure the front and the back, and we'll be able to get a determination on if it's going to fit this magazine. So on the front side here, I'm getting about 25/76. Our goal is to be less than 42 millimeters, so we're well within that range. So if your space in between the bottom of the mag catch and the underside of the receiver is less than 42 millimeters, you're good to go. Then we'll do the back side, and the back side measures about 37, and you want it less than 46. So obviously we already know that this firearm is good to go with this, but this is how you're going to get a template to make sure that yours works. So anything on the short mount, anything that is shorter than 42 millimeters or on the front, or 46 millimeters on the back, that's what you're looking for. Now the same rings true for the long Glock mount, and the difference is that the measurements in the front is going to be more. It's going to be 75 millimeters, so anything smaller than 75 millimeters is going to fit on the front, and anything less than 80 millimeters on the back is going to fit. I'll show you what you might use this for. Now this is a Glock 20, so this is actually the magazine is wider, so it's not what this is designed for, but it actually still works, kind of. But if you had, let's say this was a Glock 17 or a Glock 19, you know, something chambered in 9mm, or you know, if they're chambered in 40, they will fit as well. So any of those models that are 9mm 40 caliber are going to work with this mount. And so because, you know, the magazine takes up the full space inside, you know, that's what you're going to want to use. Now this 20, you see all the extra space in there, but it would still hold it just fine. But it's probably not going to hold the magazine. In fact, we'll check. Yeah, see, the magazine is too big for the Glock 20. This is chambered in 10mm. But the mag catch still kind of works. But obviously, if you were to use the short one, you know, yeah, it would sit in there. So you could use the short one, but it's not going to actually lock in, and then you'll have to hit the mag release, because our mag catch is somewhere on down here. Another time you might want to use the big one, the tall mount, instead of the short one, is if you're using like a Chris Vector or something where the magazine feeds in through the hand grip, like the pistol grip. So if it's using the full length, you know, if it's a variation of some 9mm carbine, you may want this one, and that's why you're going to take your measurements. So use that guide to determine if it's going to fit or not. Now, as far as compatibility with magazines, let me take this tape off here. As far as compatibility with magazines for the magazine holder, we have made it to fit for just standard Glock brand magazines. And so it just fits right in that chamber right there, and it holds it nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about it coming off. And it just slides right in there. So you have your magazine stored, go take it off. Once you take it off your mount, and it's ready to go. Now, this is an extended Magpul magazine. Now you'll notice how much fatter the butt plate is. That will not fit. So for the purposes of using with this, you're gonna wanna use a standard Glock pattern magazine. And so, you know, the height of that butt plate's about 6.7 millimeters by about 28.7. So even if you get one just to, you know, stick with this for cosmetics and you can keep using your Magpul or whatever, you can do that, or you could just not use the magazine holder at all. You will notice it comes out at a sharper angle. That's just based on the angle that the rounds feed into through the magazine. And so there's not a very easy way to get it to go straight in line. So it will be canted off a little bit to the side. Now, if you want to change it, so right now we've got it, so if we have this mounted to the wall, the barrel is going to be facing the right. It will not work like our AR-15 wall mounts. It would not work to flip it, right? It's not going to fit. So to switch the mounting direction, you take your mount and an Allen key, and you loosen these front two metric Allen bolts. You'll need to do this anyway when you're mounting it for the first time in order to get access to these back screws. So now you have this plate. When you're mounting for the first time, you'll bolt it up against your wall. But you notice the taper that we have here on the base plate, and then see how we have a mirror taper on both sides. So even